So in this video, I will be going over the setup of the document in InDesign, threading text, placing text, threading text through columns, kind of giving you an overview of placing images on the grid, the 6-column grid, adding text, threading the text. Okay, so I'm going to go over to InDesign and I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do is do the page setup. Okay, so in InDesign, you're going to create a new file. You're going to switch to print. You're going to change your units here to inches. Okay, first thing you're going to do, very important, change it to inches. Because if you don't change it to inches and you put that specifications, page specifications in there as is, and you create a new document, you're going to probably have a very tiny document. So first thing, very important, change it to inches. The document width is 8.5. The height is going to be 10.875. And depending on how many pages you're going to do 12 or 16. So 12 pages or 16 pages. I'm going to set mine up at 16. I'm going to do 6 columns. My margins are 0.25. And as long as this little chain is connected or lock is connected, whatever you put in that first field, and you press tab, the other 3 fields are going to populate with that same number. We're going to add a bleed, so 0.125. And again, as long as that's connected, type the number in the first one, press your tab key, and you have your bleed line. So once all that is set, 8.5 by 10.875, 1/4 inch margins, 1/8 of an inch bleed, click create. So here's your 6-column layout. Again, you're not stuffing everything in one little column. You can if that's part of your design, but your text can span across 3 columns. It can span across 2. And it can also span across all 6. Okay. The columns are for guidelines, aligning your information, your images, your text. But you're not necessarily sticking everything in one of these little columns unless that's your design choice for a particular element on the page. Okay, so based on the magazine dummy layout that you created, in one of the steps, you are going to have your cover. Inside front cover traditionally would be a advertisement. Page 3 here would be your table of contents, and you can have a 2-page table of contents, but that's usually for larger magazines. This again is only a 12 or 16-page magazine. So your table of contents would be on page 3. And then your articles would start on page 4. And again, you're interspersing your text with ads, because we did do ad space based on the dummy layout. Okay, and then your back cover would be an ad. So you're creating 2 ads, and then the rest of the ads you can find something online that would be close to that size. The dimensions of either a full page or the 1/2 page. Okay. So we have all of that. The setup there, 8.5 by 10.875. Margins are 1/4 of an inch. Bleed is 1/8 of an inch, 6 columns. And the gutter is the space between the columns. That's the default. And then you add buttons. Okay. At this point, I don't have really anything to place on the page. I just want to briefly show you how to thread text from one column to the next. So I'm going to use my type tool, select my type tool. I'm going to click and drag and make a text frame. Okay, so again, you can make your text go across 3 columns, 2 columns, 4 columns, all 6 columns. Or if you're choosing, you can make it go in each column separately. So I created a 3-column wide text frame based on my 6-column grid. And just for purposes, if you don't have all of your articles and everything put together yet, you can go under the type menu, fill with placeholder text, and it's going to put Latin text in there. So you can see how much text would fit in that particular text frame based on this case, my default font and size of 12 points. Okay, so if I resize my frame, you can see some of the text is disappearing. I have a little plus sign down here at the bottom. That's letting me know that there is more text that needs to be loaded onto another part of the page. And this is what's called text threading, threading text through text frames. I'm going to click on that plus sign, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to decide that I want this rest of this text to fill 2 columns, go across 2 columns. Okay, so the first one is 3 columns. The second one would be 2 columns. And then I would maybe place an image here, and that would go across the 3 columns. And this is also for placement of images, not just your text. So I would have an image here, maybe an image here, and then my headline would be up here. So this would be headline. And you can make it, this particular font has a lot of styles and weight associated with it. So you want to look for a font that has quite a few styles associated with it. That way you can use that to have contrast. Okay, so I'm going to type more here. So this is my headline. About my, okay. So that's your headline. And then you would have your byline. So who wrote the article? By my name, and then special to this magazine. And then you can format that how you want it. Whatever text you're going to use for the body text should be that same font there. If I needed more text just for checking out the layout, I can select both of these text frames here and here and go under the type menu, fill with placeholder text, and it's going to fill in more text here. So whatever space was open in that particular text frame, it filled it in more. So my suggestion is do the same thing here based on your thumbnails that you're creating. Start laying out where you're going to have your text frames and then your image frames. And then you can come back and place something into uh, that. So, trying to find an image here. Okay, so if I wanted to place an image here, I would select that text frame, go to File, Place, locate where my images are, place it in there. And let me hide this here. So up here in the top in your control panel, if you don't have your control panel, go under the window menu and go to Control, and you have your fitting options here. So fill frame proportionally, because that was a very big image. Fit content proportionally. So it's a image that is like more of a rectangle than a square. So that would fit like that. Then you have fit content to frame, and it distorts it. Remember, you want to hold down your shift key when you resize something. And then you can center it. But I'm going to choose fill frame proportionally, and then center it. So it automatically kind of centers it. I can, based on that little target in the middle, if I move my mouse over and I get the little circle, I can push this image if I want to recenter it. And you're placing your images and your text based on the space available. So your images, if the article is going to be more image heavy, then obviously your image would be larger and fill up more place. If your text is more important, then your text is going to take up more of the space. Okay, so again, having that target in the middle, you can adjust the position of the image. I'm pressing my left arrow key, right arrow key, and then I can move it up and down. If the image was more up and down, this one just happens to be wider left to right. Again, the other one here, I want to add an image in there. So I'm going to select that frame and go to File, Place, and select that other image that I had here. Okay. Again, that image is very large. So I want to fill frame proportionally so that I can see the person in the art in the image. You can put if there's a photo caption, you can put it on here. If you want to put like a pull quote on there, you could do that because he's kind of like pointing, hey, to this. So this would be an element where you could put a pull quote. Okay, so that's how you do the text threading. You can adjust your adjust your text frames to fit different column width if you want. So if instead of it going across 3 columns, you wanted to go across 2, this one then can maybe go across this way and like that. Okay, or this text here, you have to put another graphic or image there. That rest of that text then can go to the back of the magazine because it's important, but it's not as important to finish maybe including the rest of this image here because now the editor's saying, hey, I want this picture larger. I don't want as much text here. So you're adjusting things as you're going. Okay. And then if you see down here at the bottom, it says error, click on that and go to pre-flight panel, and it will tell you what the error is. In this case, there's extra text here because I still have that little plus sign down there at the bottom, letting me know that there's more text. So I can click on that and maybe go to a page farther down in the document. So say back here, and then click and drag and add that. Now it's only one line, but if you had a lot more text, then it would flow here to this particular page. So it's jumping it from page in the front and bringing it down here to this other page that's farther back in the magazine. The image or the text is still there, would still be there. It's just not as important as the rest of it. Okay. The other thing is if you want to add an image, that goes across the top or grows somewhere and it goes across both pages, you can do that as well. So I'm going to draw a rectangle that's going to go across both pages. And in this case, I want the image to bleed, so go past the edge of the document. So I'm resizing my frame so it fits, goes from the red line to the red line. And then I'm going to go to File, Place, take this image and place it in there. And in this case, the image isn't that large. So I'm going to click on Fill Frame Proportionally, and then maybe adjust that one. Now you can see it's a full page. I mean, an image that goes across both pages. I wanted it just to have that section part of it, for example. And then I would do my headline up here. Take the road less traveled. And then find the font that you want to use. Okay, and then if I press the W key, you can see that is the presentation mode. And then you can start adding your text in here. You can push this all the way down to the bottom if you want, add your text, however you want to do the layout. But these layouts should be based on the thumbnails that you created. And also if there is a layout that you found in one of the magazines that you looked at and you want to use that, try to recreate it, you're more than welcome to do that, because that's how I kind of do things. I find things already designed and I kind of try to recreate them without knowing exactly how they were created. Come up with my idea, maybe a little bit different, close to it, but maybe a little bit different. Okay. All right, so that's the setup of the InDesign document, placing text, threading the text from one column to the next, and then threading it so that it maybe ends at the back. If there's, part of the article is not important, you can shove it to the back. So again, the first page is your cover, second page is your article. This should actually be the table of contents, so I would need to move that, but page 3 would be your table of contents. And then the back cover is your, page 16 is your back cover, so an ad would go there. And then you're basing this on your dummy layout, your combination of images, not images, but advertising and editorial, how much editorial is going to appear on each page. And then if you're going to have ads that are kind of break it up. Okay, so this concludes the lecture for the magazine design assignment. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me and you will see the due date on the assignment.